comment.
Oh, sure.
You can't post it though.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to write text on my face there, like across the top.
Oh, I don't know if you can do that.
The question of the week is, why are we here? That's what we're going to be discussing tonight. Why are we
here? Okay. All right, we're live on Facebook. Let's see if you're joining us.
I'm going to hook this up right here.
We are testing.
We will officially start around 7.
Okay, we're going to start at 7 if you're on here.
All right. You can see the beautiful face of beautiful Danny Mazer. How's that angle?
Great.
You'll be able to see.
Hi. Yep.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I put on my special fluffy leg things for today. I feel like a Cookie Monster.
Okay.
I actually originally got these to be Beast from X-Men for Halloween.
Let's see if we are okay. We'll start in 2 minutes if you're here. We are on Zoom today. Hi, Hannah.
So today we're starting something a little bit different because we are actually going to interview some people on here, which should be pretty fun. We've got 6 people lined up for 5 minutes each, and that'll happen starting in about 35 minutes. So in order to see those people's faces, you'll want to be on Soul Stories' Facebook page. So we'll be switching over to exclusively Facebook in about 35 minutes. But for now, we are on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. Let's see. We're almost ready.
I'm gonna drink some wine. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. I've spent a lot of time in the sunshine today, which was very nice.
Okay. All right, we are good to go.
Woo!
I think we can see our comments right there.
Wine.
Sweet.
Everyone's watching us learn how to use technology.
All right.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Thursday, Danny Mazer.
Happy Thursday.
How many weeks of quarantine is it? Yes, anyone, if you know.
18.
It could be 1 also. it could be like 5 years or like 1 week, and I wouldn't know the difference because there's no marker of time.
Especially because you haven't been going to work.
I haven't been outside of this house very much at all.
That's crazy.
Very personal relationship with these walls.
And
when Danny and Ocean come here, I have to like stop myself from talking out loud, because like when Bryce is home and when Danny is home, then I have to like realize that there's other people in the room. Yeah.
And Joe says 7 weeks.
7 weeks. Oh my gosh.
Maybe, question mark, he says.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good guess.
What is our question of the week, Shelsea?
Why are we here?
Why are we here?
Well, I feel like I have gone through a very, I've changed my mind on this perspective a lot. It's been a journey in my life.
Okay.
I was kind of raised to think that we are here because our souls and our spirits have a higher purpose and a destiny. And so we incarnate into this life with like a true higher purpose that like you can either get it right or get it wrong. But there is like a true purpose that is your purpose. And with proper meditation and tuning in with the self, you can tune in with what your higher purpose is, and you should follow that purpose. And that's like you being fulfilled in life.
Do you still believe that?
Now I think that it's actually a lot more of you kind of choose your own adventure versus inherited. But I do still wonder about reincarnation. What do you think about reincarnation?
Hi, Ocean. Thanks
Hello.
for joining. I love the idea of reincarnation.
Yeah.
I personally can't get behind any spiritual dogma or ideology anymore.
Yeah.
But the weird part is, like, I'm with you. I was raised in a religious household, conservative Catholic, and I had if you were at 18, I remember talking to my college dorm mates, and talking about death or something, and being like, if I died today, I'd be fine because I know I'm going to heaven. That was only 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And so my relationship with all of this has changed so dramatically. And reincarnation, I don't know, have you read the book Many Lives, Many Masters?
No, but you've told me a lot about
it. That has been a very convincing book to me, that reincarnation is a possibility.
Interesting.
And I don't really believe in anything truly concrete, but I also have this I do believe in like a path, like you're talking about.
Like you're either on the path or off the path?
Yeah, and I don't feel like I get to choose that path.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the interesting part of it. Like,
there are some things that just feel more natural for me.
Right.
That like some things I could do them and it just wouldn't be me.
Right. Like, I'm not sure I can like choose. I'm not sure how much choice I actually have. But I also don't believe in like a spiritual ideology, so it's an interesting thing to inhabit.
Yeah. I mean, and I have friends, and specifically I have a friend I was hanging out with yesterday who was telling me that
Hi, Valencia.
Hello, welcome. We're talking about reincarnation.
Question of the week is,
why are we here?
Why are we here?
Tell us. Somebody please tell us.
What a bold question.
Yeah. I hope that somebody is like, I know for sure.
Yeah. And we're all like, all right, well, we're following that person.
Yeah. New religion.
This is, if you want to be our cult leader, we will accept you.
We're on the market for your cult leader. We've already got wine, so I think we're ready. So yeah, my friend yesterday was saying that she's like, oh yeah, I have this knowing about something that happened to me in a past life. And I don't want to negate that, I don't know what her experience is.
Yeah.
And then through some psychedelic experiences that I've had that seem so real, and also specifically some psychedelic experiences that I've had that seem to be shared with other people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I think that there's some kind of other dimensional something going on. And that kind of makes me lean into the past life thing too.
Yeah.
Like there is a consciousness beyond our five senses.
Yeah. I felt that in ayahuasca for sure.
Yeah. But also I think it's nice to be like, I might be wrong. Who cares? Like maybe we're just way off. Who cares if we're way off base?
Yeah.
I don't really think I'll be punished for being wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the South Park. Have you seen the South Park where they like, I think it might be the movie from the late 90s where they're like, everybody dies and they're like, who was right? And they're like, the Mormons. And then everybody else goes to hell.
That's funny. Because weren't they raised Mormon, those guys?
Hi, Invader. Do you know Invader?
I
don't know.
Cool.
Great. Welcome.
Just tell us your name. Maybe we do know you.
Yeah, maybe we know you. What'd you say?
Those guys are Mormon, right? The South Park guys? Were they raised Mormon or something?
I don't know.
I heard that one of them was or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to go from Mormon to South Park.
To Book of Mormon as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
What is the thing where...
Oh, Philip Tran. I know Philip Tran.
Sweet. Yeah.
You don't know Philip Tran.
Cool.
Right?
Is
it...
Philip... I know Joe Tran.
Philip...
Are you guys related?
Oh, he says they were both raised Mormon. Philip, are you the person I met on that train ride? Remember that train ride I took?
When your car broke down?
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was this crazy thing that happened one time when Danny's car broke down in the mountains and he had to like find his way back.
I know it of getting
It was
back.
crazy.
And so I took, what's that called?
Amtrak?
Amtrak. It took 17 hours to go a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Quite a journey in the snow.
Not actually 17 hours.
Everyone needs a little adventure in their lives. Okay, so there was, have you seen any of The Good Place? You don't like The Good Place, do you?
I've seen The Good Place. I don't like The Good Place.
I think you told me once that it was the most basic thing about me. That I liked it.
Well, if you like The Good Place, I take that back.
Anyway, in The Good Place,
I hope nobody likes The Good Place.
Oh, I had a total moment where I felt like a total asshole earlier on the internet. I'll tell you about it later if you want.
Okay.
Or in this later. Okay, so in The Good Place, there's a scene where she's like, "I'm dead." Well, who got everything right? Like, who was the one? Which religion was it that like figured everything out?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, everybody got it like terribly wrong, except for this guy, Dave Tucker or whatever his name is, who was high on weed, laying in the grass, telling his friends like he had this like existential breakdown. He's like looking up at the stars, and he laid it all out perfectly, just that one time. And then they had like a portrait of this like stoner dude like in heaven, like he's the only one who ever got it right.
That's amazing. That like validates every stoner thought.
Oh yeah.
Philip says, "I'm afraid not. We met at Whittier's open mic, and I also work at the Mercury Cafe."
Oh, Mercury Cafe.
Oh, Philip. Yeah. Sorry, Philip.
That's so good.
Yeah, Philip hosts. Yeah. Anyways, Carbon Copy. But thank you for joining.
Yes.
It's good to see you again, even though I can't see you. Question of the week is, why are we here? Facebook, Instagram. If you're here for the first time, we welcome comments. We welcome you to answer the question of the week.
And we have a comment from Valencia. Let's read it. Hey, good to see your face, Valencia. Good to see your profile picture. Let's see. Why are we here? I'm not sure. I was hoping to read some answers. My personal experience is that people add meaning to their lives through the way they interpret their experiences. People have different paths through their lives. My purpose could be different tomorrow than it is today. Of course, I could be wrong. I like the idea of having choice in how our life's purpose develop. Bryce Mayero says hashtag howl for Joel.
What's that mean?
It's a stupid joke, but he accidentally wrote the name Joel instead of the word howl. And now there's like this imaginary character that we've all been talking about that is named Joel. And we all howl for him.
Great.
Okay.
What do you think about Valencia's comment?
I also like the idea that we have a certain amount of choice in it. And it's like, why would we evolve choice if we're not meant to use it?
But question of the week, new question, does free will exist?
You don't think so?
I don't know. I
want
to believe in free will. I want to believe in free will. But I've had a couple of people convincingly talk me off the cliff and say free will doesn't exist.
I mean, I'm imagining like,
I guess talk me on. That's more of being on the cliff. Anyways, go ahead. My metaphor is just
okay, neural pathways. And like maybe there's this thing inside your brain and it's like, if you like, your brain will take one path or another path in your thoughts, right?
Uh-huh.
And it feels like you have a choice, but the source of the choice, the ultimate decision that you make in its source is probably tied to history of your life and chemistry in your brain. And I mean, if we have free will, then does a cat have free will?
Probably not.
I don't like any kind of theory where it's like humans are somehow magically better than all the other animals.
But a cat can't think about itself. We can.
Well, we don't know if a cat can think about itself.
That's true. All signs point to no, though, don't you think?
I don't know how to measure that, but yeah, I bet people have tried to measure that, and you're probably right. Or like, I think that like a chimpanzee can recognize itself in a mirror.
Because like, can't dolphins think about themselves?
I mean, how do you know?
Well, I've heard that dolphins are the only species that can rape besides us. That they can choose, that they're making the choice to unconsensually have sex.
Interesting. I guess I don't know how you measure choice in that, because obviously ducks are super rapey. Stingrays are also like super rapey. Like the female will try to get away.
I think it's a choice thing. I don't think it's like
instinct.
Yeah, I think like
dolphins are crazy smart.
Yeah. What do you think about Valencia saying that though? About choice and purpose?
I mean, I'm with Valencia that like I like the flippancy of being like, I might be wrong. And I like the idea that your purpose can change as you make choices. Like we're all born these like incapable babies that have, in a sense, we have so much potential. Like we could take our lives in so many different directions.
Yeah.
And every year that goes by, the decisions that you make within that year limit your options. Mm-hmm. And make you more and more specialized to what habits you build and what skills you develop and stuff.
Yeah. So do you believe in that, in like the choice and purpose? Or
yeah. And again, like, and I say this all the time, but I think it's really important for me to know the difference between believing something because I would like it to be true and believing something because it actually makes sense for it to be true. Uh-huh. In this case, I know I would like it to be true that I have free will.
Yeah.
And I have very little information as to whether or not it makes sense that it's true.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
it's easy. And that's why, like, I mean, religion and spirituality and philosophy, a lot of this stuff is just all about like exploring the unknown and the mystery and things that cannot be known for sure with measurable science.
Yeah.
And so we get into like these like mystery spaces, and it's so easy in mystery spaces to fall in line with what you want to be true, because you don't have any evidence to go off of.
Yeah, and I think that's the really hard part for me about spirituality is developing a belief pattern that you like validate and you see it through your perspective, and then you like make it more concrete, and then that becomes the only perspective you see the world through.
Yeah.
And then you limit yourself.
Yeah.
In your ability to grow because you are in love with this belief.
Yeah. Well, and this is also making me think about like, I kind of feel like faith is spooky, because the spooky thing about faith is that if you believe in it, it's true. But if you doubt it, then it's not true. Like the idea that having faith will have power to create things.
Yeah, it's like manifesting.
Yeah, or like this idea of like manifesting, like faith in your own belief. Uh-huh. Like in a lot of witchcraft and stuff, people will say this too. Like if you believe it, then it will happen. But if you don't believe it, then it won't happen.
Right.
And so then it's like this spooky thing of like, well, you better believe it, and you better not even like play with the idea that it might not be true.
Right. And I think that's what scares a lot of people who are dogmatic.
Yeah. Right.
Is because they have to keep reinforcing this thing.
Right. Yeah.
And like overcome the insecurity.
Yeah.
Through making it concrete.
That being said, Bryce and I have been talking about possibly going to different churches just to check them out on Sundays once everything opens up again.
Are we done?
Yeah, it sounds interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times they're just talking about universal concepts and how to be a good person and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I would love to go to like a Muslim mosque if they would welcome us. Mm-hmm. Like all these different kinds of spiritual things. Just check them out.
Tibby next door, our neighbor, is getting into believing in Quaker.
Yeah. The Quakers are so fucking cool, because she volunteers with my friend Sean with the Quakers. Oh. Yeah.
Let's go to listeners. Greta's back on.
Yeah.
Greta and Phil said.
I want to show Greta my dress because I think she'll appreciate it. Look at my moon dress, Greta. It's moons.
Moon dress. That's like we don't have like the machine that goes wah, 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 wah. It's just like me repeating what you said.
You're my hype man.
Yeah. Philip says, how do you prove dolphin consent? I don't know because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We have to look those things up.
I have one thing I know about dolphins. Can I say it?
Sure.
2 dolphins can go down and they know like sign language, right? So like their trainer will give them a sign and then they'll be like, that's the backflip sign. So they go down, they do a backflip in unison. The trainer will give them a sign and it's like, do the single fin wave. And so then they'll come up and they'll do the single fin wave. And then they can also do, if the trainer says, choose your own trick, they'll go underwater, they'll exchange some clicks, and then they'll both come up and do like a forward flip or whatever it is at the same time. And I love that because it's like this implication of like they're really like making decisions together, which does kind of imply this sense of like will.
Yeah, that's
because they do a different trick every time. And they're like deciding together.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Philip also says, perhaps we are here to test the human experience.
To test it.
I like that.
Like test it for what? It seems like we're like the guinea pigs for something.
Constantly. Generation after generation.
Yeah.
Is the guinea pigs.
Constantly like updating it slightly. Now we have refrigerators.
Yeah.
I'm like really stoked on refrigerators today.
Well, they're a great invention.
Yeah, I'm so glad we have them.
Greta says, free will is basically admitting chaos. Interesting. I don't quite.
Yeah, explain that, Greta.
If we don't have free will, everything is more predetermined. Yay, wine, Chelsea, my deep.
Weekly Thursday wine is Pinot Grigio. I love it.
And oh no, I've been moved. If you're on here for the first time, we want to get to know you. Greta's been on here a few times, but we welcome you to answer our question of the week, which is,
why are we here?
We do this every Thursday. Share this with your friends. We are on Zoom today, not because...
On Facebook, we're on Zoom.
Yes, we're on Zoom. And in 10 minutes, Instagrammers, we are going to shut off Instagram and we're going to purely be on Zoom. Because why?
Because we're going to have 6 different people that we've asked to call in on Zoom, and they're going to each talk for 5 minutes about why we're here. So it's like a rapid fire interview kind of thing that we're trying out. We've never done it before. It'll be fun.
Yeah, they're awesome friends, great insights.
The first person coming on is my sister.
Ooh.
She's way cooler than me. You'll be very impressed. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
I wish you could see Shelsea pull her dress very cutely over her knees.
I'm very excited.
Philip says, evolution, if we don't do it better the next round of life, we'll get the chance. That's true.
Yeah.
We'll get the chance.
Yeah, I hope so. If you were going to reincarnate, what would you want to reincarnate as?
You know what I think my past life was?
What?
I think I was in a band.
Why do you think that?
I've just always had this feeling that I was like a musician.
Cool.
And I think it's strange because I can't play mute. Like I have a lot of skills, I think. Like I'm pretty good at picking up a lot of skills pretty quickly. I'm not great at mastering them. But music is one of the only things I've never been able to do. But it's my favorite thing as like.
Yeah, you're very studious about musicians that you like.
Yes. And so it's interesting. But I've had this feeling that I've been a musician through a few experiences. And someone told me the other day, they're like, people typically know their career in a past life. So if past lives are real, I think I was a musician.
So if anybody out there has any inkling of what you were or what you would like to be next time, past lives and future lives, please type it in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Philip wants to know if he can join our Zoom call. We have pre-selected people this time around, but message us after this and we can talk about getting you on the next live.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're just trying it out for the first time now, so we're going to see how it goes with people that we know, and then, kind of see how it shakes out.
Yeah, should be a good time.
Why are we here at this coordinate on planet Earth?
Like us two?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Like, how did you end up in Colorado?
Yeah, just like a few decisions,
Uh-huh.
It's just like weird little decisions that lead you to
Yeah.
this point in life.
Yeah.
But I've always felt like I followed my intuition, you know?
Do you think that intuition, what do you think intuition is?
I mean, I've always considered it like a deep knowing.
Do you think that it's like where does it come from?
I don't know. That's fun. That fucks me up, that question.
Well, because like I was definitely raised to believe in intuition, and then like going into the science community, I feel like everybody's like intuition is just what people call when they want something and they don't want to explain why they want it or
People
something.
say that in the science community?
Oh, at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, nobody believes in intuition.
What do they? What?
They don't believe in like intuition in the magical sense. They believe in instinct.
Oh, interesting. What's their difference?
Well, so I'll take a stab at like what intuition even is. But I think that the idea with intuition is that it doesn't come from the five senses.
Yeah.
That it comes from like your soul or something.
Yeah, I feel like
there's like a calling.
I believe in that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people who work at the Science Museum don't believe in a soul.
What do they do? Are they cold, heartless people?
No, they're very warm, charming people.
Wow, that
But
scares me.
Really?
Yeah, why wouldn't you believe in intuition? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if I believe in a soul for sure.
Intuition.
Well, if you don't believe in a soul, where does intuition come from?
I don't know how to explain it.
It's really just instinct. It's instinct and like sensory experiences that you're interpreting.
And you just like carry that within you.
Yeah.
And then you just make decisions
based on associative memories.
Like data that you can't necessarily call.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But I mean, I don't know, because like I've heard crazy psychic stories a lot in my life too that like I read this book by Shirley MacLaine called Out on a Limb, and she had all kinds of psychic experiences in her life that seemed very inexplicable.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I have experiences all the time that are inexplicable.
So you think that you're kind of tuned in with something beyond your five senses that's kind of calling you to different things?
I just feel like I end up in situations that are like, holy fuck, this is crazy that these factors are all coming together at this one time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just wild, some of the coincidences that happen in my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, well, one thing that happens for me where I'm like, this has got to be proof. Like, how could this be explained? Is I'm a very vivid dreamer, and I often will have a dream, and then the next day, something related to that dream will happen. And that happens to me a lot. I cannot explain it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy how the dream world interacts.
Yeah. It makes me think that time's not linear or something.
The dream world has interacted with me in a couple of ways that have made me I've read, my dream has processed a decision I was making for me.
Wow, that's cool. You actually did like work in your dream.
Yeah, like the work I was doing was concluded in my dream.
Yeah, that's cool. I had a dream that our roommate was like in trouble, and I like told him today to watch out.
Really?
Yeah.
Our new roommate?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, great. Yeah, feel free to send us your responses.
Yeah, what do you think you were in a past life? Or what would you like to be in your next life? I bet Alicia's going to have a good answer for that when she comes on in a few minutes.
Or why are we here?
Yeah, that's the question of the week. Why are we here?
Yeah, go ahead.
That can be a very personal answer too. Like, what do you think your purpose in life is? I kind of have like a mission statement.
Tell me about it.
It's about combining art, education, and personal growth. Those are like my 3 pillars.
Art, education, personal growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since we've met, you've told me that.
Yeah, those are my things. And so that's kind of like my purpose, self-constructed.
You have a pretty wide net, I feel like. like if those three things are involved, you're down.
Totally.
But you're not like a specific thing. Like some people are like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a special ed teacher.
Yeah, or some people are like, I'm going to make miniature art.
Yeah.
I was once at the Museum of Jurassic Technology in Los Angeles,
Uh-huh.
and they had crazy miniature art. They had needles, and on the tip of the needle, they would have a sculpture of like a person with a flower on the head of the needle. And there's people who just like, that's their thing.
That's amazing.
They also had all of these microscopes, and when you look inside the microscope, there's a kaleidoscope kind of mandala looking like collage, and it's very, very small. Obviously, it's on a slide in a microscope. It's made from butterfly wings.
Whoa.
And they slice them super tiny and make this little collage.
Can you imagine being so intensely detailed that you can
God.
create things like that?
I can't even like put peanut butter on bread without making a mess.
Right, like I didn't pass coloring in the lines purely.
Yeah.
Like I remember coloring the lines as a kid and like always kind of getting outside and like it kind of being a thing like around you that's like, if you can't color in the lines by now, like what are you doing?
Oh no.
And you know, in my head I'm like,
oh, that's too bad.
oh, it's Brett thinks he was a hermit crab.
Yeah, animals in past lives could be interesting too. Because there's definitely people who are like, animals are animals and people are reincarnating magic.
Yeah, that is another question. Can you be reincarnated as an animal?
If reincarnation exists, I would say that you can like have like a very evolved life or whatever, where you're like super enlightened. And then the next time you could be like, just like a total Joe Schmo or like a mouse or whatever. Like, I don't think that you're necessarily going to evolve every lifetime in an upward fashion.
Really?
Yeah, because I think you could have something that you leave behind that you like. You could be very evolved and enlightened, except for in this one little thing in the corner of your aura that you never quite cleaned up. And so you have this other lifetime where you're like a mouse in a sewer or something to like, you know, just
to
clear
go through
that
that
out.
one thing.
Yeah.
And then you die and then you're back.
Right.
That'd be cool.
You know, like, I kind of would compare that to how Albert Einstein, they say, was like very disheveled and didn't have like basic hygiene and stuff. But he was like a genius in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you just miss little things.
And you think he's got to go back to figure out his hygiene?
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you look at lifetimes as if it's like this evolution of like aging and getting wiser, like you might have gotten really wise in some ways, but then you got to go back to the beginning for some basics.
Yeah, that would be. Wouldn't it just be so nice if it were real?
Ugh.
I would love it for.
I like being alive.
But it doesn't.
I want to do it again.
But it doesn't matter because we don't remember. You know.
Well, that's the other thing. According to what's his name, Pendleton Ward in the new Pendleton Ward cartoon, which is the guy who invented Adventure Time. He has this cartoon about like psychedelics and philosophy.
The speaker is Duncan Trussell.
Duncan Trussell is talking about, oh gosh, what was it that he was talking? I forget now because I got caught up. It's a really good cartoon though.
Yeah, check it out. The Midnight Gospel. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Greta says, I don't think intuition is necessarily soul related. I think it's a sense we don't always tune into.
Interesting. So
it goes to what you're talking about.
So then, Greta, would you say that it is like of the body? Like, is it like somehow in a subconscious memory or something like that? Do you believe in a soul? Can intuition happen if you don't believe in souls? Can you believe in intuition in a different way? I'm curious.
What do you want to say?
The thing in the Pendleton Ward cartoon was he was basically saying that if you continue to work on enlightenment and meditation, then you will actually start to become permanent. your soul and your energy will become permanent. And as you reincarnate into the next life, you will remember more. And then eventually you will be like a permanent being that won't be completely dissolved back into the ether and reconstructed into a new being.
Wow.
That was in the cartoon.
If travel is
Hey, is that Bjork?
Bjork's our new roommate.
what's been found.
Brett says he got a top fan badge for Soul Stories.
Oh, that's cool.
Brett says, I was a hermit crab and I will be a hermit crab again in my next life. I'm just a crabby hermit right now. Oh, Brett, you are a crabby hermit. All right, well, feel free to comment. I see people are watching, so
we should probably switch just to Zoom because Alicia's going to be calling in soon.
Yeah, you should text her. It's her time.
My phone is on the rubber band. Can you text her with your phone?
I don't have her number.
I know it.
You know it by heart?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should keep Instagram on
Okay.
until. If you're still on Instagram, we are going to be on Facebook. We're going to be switching over to Facebook Live. We're going to be doing 6 Zoom calls for 5 minutes each tonight. It's a little experiment. Honestly, I think I'm a little bit nervous. I don't feel super present right now.
Oh, well, where do you feel, past or future? Where's your head
That's a
at?
good question. I think future.
Oh.
But sometimes I just feel like I need to say that. You know, whenever I'm facilitating, it's good for me to say that in front of like the people.
Sometimes just naming it makes it kind of dissolve.
Yeah. So I think I'll be present though.
Well, I mean, you could also take us with you into whatever else is on your mind if you want.
No, it's just like, you know, it's just like when you enter, like I think I entered this feeling kind of tired.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm just like carrying that tired. And
Yeah.
so that in the middle of thoughts, I'll just like veer off.
Oh.
And I have to come back and I'm not as like with you as I usually am. So.
Yeah. And I talk a lot. So it's hard probably to pay attention to everything I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's so interesting. You talk a lot, but you say all interesting things.
That's nice.
Like one of our guests tonight, Becca Hannigan, talks a lot, but she says all interesting things. And that's a great quality to have. If you're on here and you want more people, share on your Facebook profile while you're here.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And talk to us. Tell us how you're doing. Tell us about your day. Tell us why you're here on Earth.
Why are we here?
Why are we here?
So what you were saying a moment ago, Danny, it kind of reminded me of the movie Waking Life. I know at least some of you have seen Waking Life. And it's a really great movie with a lot of philosophical conversation in it. And there's do you remember the cloud scene where they turn into clouds? It's the holy moment.
Not specifically.
So these two guys are sitting across from each other and they're like, let's just have a holy moment. And they just go completely silent and just like look into each other's eyes. Mm-hmm. And then as they're doing it, they're kind of like, I was kind of in and out of the holy moment, like tuning in, tuning out, you know, because there's all these layers. And I feel like that happens with me all the time too. I'm trying to be present within a conversation, but then there's a layer of wondering how I'm presenting myself, especially because we're on camera right now.
Yeah. And
there's the layer of wondering, you know, how this relates to other things in my life, and the layer of getting distracted by the tone of someone else's voice. And all these things that you can get kind of swept away in.
Yeah, there's a lot to get distracted by.
Yeah.
That's interesting, missing a holy moment like that. Hannah says, as a counter to the spiritual, I think we make our own meanings for existing.
Can you unlock this?
Yeah. Yeah, Alicia, our first guest, lives in California. I kind of figured she thought it was California 7:30.
I did say Mountain Standard Time. It's okay.
Yeah. And Hannah, just to your point, yeah, like I think we started this conversation talking about not really believing in spirituality, but kind of exploring our past spiritual beliefs, and like reincarnation is something we're just kind of playing with right now. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about believing in heaven at one point in my life, and like Jesus Christ, and And if you're joining us, I never thought I would transition from saying the word Jesus Christ to, and if you're joining us, and if you're joining us on Instagram, we will be exiting soon because we are going to go live on Zoom, on Facebook Live. Follow the Soul Stories Facebook page. We're going to be chatting with some really fun people tonight. And yeah, thank you for joining so far. Did you send out the link to everybody?
I did. And
Oh,
Alicia
okay.
says that the link is invalid.
Oh.
We're learning.
Let's.
I just resent it to her.
I am going to hold up, friends.
I've heard some horror stories of people trying to operate on like Instagram and Zoom and stuff with work because it's so new to everybody. And like my sister had this like horrible situation where like everything technologically seemed to be going wrong and they had like 200 people on the call.
Really?
Isn't that sad?
Yeah. That's a large amount of people. I sent you the full message now. Maybe you can send it to our guest. So the question is, why are we here?
I mean, I just resent her that.
I sent it to her too.
Oh, cool.
Okay, yeah, so why are we here? Can I look at this?
Yeah.
And let's read what some people commented on our page.
Cool.
I know Noah, who just joined on Instagram, said farting around. We're just farting around, which I think this is a Kurt Vonnegut quote.
Noah also said that he measures time in Nutella containers now. Or was that John Lansing? Somebody said
that was
on
John.
Facebook.
That was John Stoughton.
Oh, John Stoughton.
To which I responded the farting around question or farting around comment to I've been farting an excessive amount recently because I didn't know it was a quote, but I wanted to show that I've been farting a lot.
Okay. Just wanted to share.
And then Noah said, should be clear, Vonnegut nod. So, Aki said, I don't know about y'all, but I'm just here for the food. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about food being our purpose?
I think it's so fucking awesome that the thing that we do in order to survive also is so enjoyable.
Yeah.
Also wine.
Cheers. Hannah says, it is. I think that's to Vonnegut. Or me farting. Or
food.
Or food.
Farting or food, one or the other. I really like the animalistic nature of these notions, though.
Manage participants. Okay, guys. Instagram, we are leaving you. Guys, we are so excited you stayed with us because we figured out technology.
Hopefully it's going to work. Should I hit admit?
Admit.
All right, this is going to be Emilio in Los Angeles.
Oh, Emilio's in?
Hello?
Are we on with people? Oh, great.
Oh, yes, I believe that you are muted. Is that right?
I am muted, but now I'm alive. Is
Excellent.
it my turn already? Oh my gosh.
All right, so good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you guys? I'm Emilio.
Hi, Emilio.
Haven't met me.
I'm Danny.
Hey there.
Yeah, so we're hanging out here in Colorado. It's a gloomy day, and you're out there in lovely California. And we want to know why are we here? Emilio, can you tell us?
Yes, I am going to tell you why we are here, and I'm going to give you a demonstration followed by a brief discussion. So today we are here to make margaritas. So I'm going to do. So we're going to start with, a pint glass and some ice. And I probably could have already had it, the ice in here, but I thought it would be more fun to demonstrate it.
Definitely.
And then next we are going to take a bunch of lemons and limes. I picked a bunch of lemons from my it's not really my front yard. I live in an apartment complex, but my apartment complex has some lovely lemons. So we're going to do that. and I'm juicing them. Ryan, you help me juice these. So yeah, I think it's really important to work with what you got. And I happen to have a lot of this at home, so it just worked out perfectly to make a margarita.
And that's one huge thing. Like, because of this whole quarantine thing, I feel like I have so many craft supplies that I'm actually like using and going through. And I feel like we have so much excess of resources. Ooh, agave.
We sure do. I never use this agave, but now I get to use it.
Yeah.
And I love me some dark blue agave. This one's a
Yeah.
Trader Joe's brand, but there's all kinds of good ones.
Is that an agave plant in the picture behind you?
Where? Oh, yeah, that one is.
Yeah.
It sure is. I'm used to doing like Instagram lives and not Zooms, and normally you can't see that one. So yeah, it is an agave plant.
Nice.
So I'm adding in some tequila, triple sec as well.
This
Love
is amazing.
this.
Oh, I love it. And I lost my top, but I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna shake it up.
Yeah, hell yeah. Go with the raw hand.
And
Is this what your Instagram live show is like?
is this what it's like?
Yeah.
I have done one drink demonstration, but I want to do more of it. Like I interview all kinds of creative people on my Harry Godmother page. And a big part of that is seeing if people want to perform. So I've had drag queens perform, songwriters perform with me. I'm just trying to use my time to interview as many creative people as I can. And this margarita demonstration is my creative way of saying, in this time when we are here in such an unfamiliar time, do more than make lemonade. You need to make a goddamn margarita.
Yeah.
Lemons that you have on your trees, and you gotta pull what you already have in your cupboard and make do, and just do all the shit that you've always wanted to do. Do your own live show, start a group that's gonna blow up around the world. All the things that you maybe had inhibitions about, just go for it. This is my convoluted way of saying that.
There's nothing in your way now as far as like having free time. Like people
True.
have time.
So have you felt like because I've talked to a lot of creative people who are like, Colin Cook. Do you know Colin? Sorry, we're managing Zoom for the first time.
No worries. I think I joined a little early, so
Yeah, you're fine.
that's show business.
Yeah, you helped us out. Do you feel like I've met a lot of creative people who are like, I feel a lot of pressure to create things, and like I'm having a hard time with that. I'm having a lot of anxiety or depression. Do you feel like you've had that experience, or has it kind of been like this has been a moment for you to like create more things and you feel kind of in line with yourself?
I've seen a little bit of both sides. I think initially the pressure is what prevented me from doing this in the first place, especially wanting things to be perfect and realizing that I don't need things to be perfect. But now that I have been doing a weekly show on Instagram, or not a weekly, I'm doing it every day of the week. So I have 5 shows a week, and I'm interviewing different people pretty much every time.
And tell us the name of your show for everyone who's listening.
It's Lockdown Live with me, Harry Godmother. And so that's kind of like my hosting persona that I've developed in LA. Before I started doing the Lockdown Live, I was doing a show called Queer Bus. And it's kind of like a variety talent show for diverse talent in the area. And I was going to debut another event called Bear Claw. That's for, kind of like the thicker, furrier queer dudes out here. And then I started Lockdown Live with the quarantine. So I'm interviewing all of those people that I met from my creative ventures, and just also randos that I follow online, and I think their stuff is cool. So I'm like, hey, want to go live with me and we'll meet in public online?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks so much for this quickie. It's really nice to see your face. And I'll see your face on Tuesday.
Yes, I'll see you on Tuesday on my show, Lockdown Live. I love a good quickie. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for the quickie.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. So we're going to go next to my sister, Alicia. So, Mike, I think you're on here. We're going to take you in 5 minutes, yeah?
Should
Just wanna
we
push it back?
bring both of them on and just have Alicia talk?
Sure.
Okay.
Or have them both talk, yeah?
All right.
2 for 10 minutes?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool.
All right, let's see who's working. All right. I think we lost Alicia. Oh, there's Alicia.
Yay, nice.
All right, Mike, should we do both?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys there? Mike, you have your.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's up? Thanks for joining,
A
Alicia.
few technical difficulties there, mostly because I forgot about time zones.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We kind of figured.
How are you doing, you beautiful, amazing human?
I'm doing great. We just pulled up in front of my favorite Thai food restaurant. It's Thursday night, which means we're getting takeout. Otherwise, we eat at home. And I'm very excited for it.
What are you gonna get?
We got pad thai and musaman curry and calamari and egg rolls, or like imperial rolls and spring rolls, because we wanted all of it.
Oh, that sounds so good.
I know. I'm excited.
That's awesome. So I'm sure you know, question of the week.
Yes.
Why
are we here?
All answers welcome. I don't know if you just saw, did you see Emilio make a margarita?
No, but I'm into that.
Yeah, he said we're here to make margaritas.
That's fantastic. I'm on board. Okay, so when I thought about this question, at first I was like, how the heck am I supposed to answer this? I truly have no idea. And then I thought about one of my favorite strategies of when I don't know what I want, I try and figure out what I do want or what I do not want. So I try the antithesis of it and work backwards. And so that's kind of what I did here. So I have some notes on my phone. And so I was thinking about this and I was like, well, why are we here? What is the meaning of life? And I was like, well, if I don't know what that is, then what I can figure out is like, what is the meaning of death? And Leonard Sweet said that death in the medical world is a clinical definition, meaning that the body does not change and that stagnation is death, right? So then from there, I can equal that change equals life. And so in stagnation, yeah, right? Fascinating, but also very logical.
Yeah, well, and like when I've experienced moments of stagnation within my life, it feels like death.
Yeah,
right.
totally...
And from that, when I experience moments of change, that often scares me, right?
Yeah.
So life and death can similarly be scary. Colin is joining us now with typing.
Yeah, it makes me think of like meditation.
Okay.
Your body and your mind will try to do things to prevent stillness. And I think that's because you're trying to avoid stillness and stagnation.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have these big changes and they happen really rapidly, it's so much life is coming into your life at once that you don't know how to process it, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of brought me to a quote by Marianne Williamson that I've actually had tattooed on my ribs forever. By that, I mean since I was 18, that says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world, and there is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So not all of that is on my ribs, but some of it is. Specifically the part about our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And so then when I think about that, then you think, okay, well, how do I become powerful beyond measure? Because apparently that is part of the meaning of life, or like, at least that's the direction of the answer that we're going. And that means that you have to let your light shine, and you also have to let others do the same, unconsciously. And that reminded me a lot of, who is it? It is Anne Friedman's concept of the shine theory, where if I don't shine, then you don't shine. And then lastly, I was kind of brought in this concept by a guy named Paul Kalanithi, and he wrote one of my favorite books. I read it when I was processing the death of one of my friends, and it's called When Breath Becomes Air. And it was a really fascinating and beautiful story. It was his memoir, and he was a neurosurgeon who was diagnosed with lung cancer, and so it talked about all of like his entire exploration of the meaning of life as he was going through this process of death, right? And until you were actually dead, you were always alive. And he had a really beautiful quote that says, human knowledge is never contained in one person. It grows from the relationships we create between each other and the world, and still it is never complete. And so then, isn't that beautiful?
I love this idea of like understanding why we are here by understanding death and why, like, when we are not here.
Yeah. And so then that kind of brought me back to this question of why are we here? And really, from my short 15-minute brainstorm of quotes that I love, right? It's to explore human relationships, not only with ourselves, but also with others, and to explore the human condition, to grow and to not be afraid of change, and to accept change, and to let our own light shine, so that way we can subconsciously let others do the same.
Awesome. Love it.
So
well, thank you so much.
Why I think we're here.
Thanks for joining, Alicia.
Yeah, super nice to see your lovely face.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
All right.
All right, we're gonna bring Brenton on as well. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the chat.
Oh, hey, I'm on?
You're
on.
All right, cool.
Behind. Sorry about that, Brenton. We'll have Mike on, and then we'll have Brenton come on after. Yeah?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
We might have to howl in at the time.
We'll howl real quick.
But if you guys want to stay on throughout that, let's do it.
We'll just go, oh, and we'll be done.
Great.
Cool. All right, cool.
All right, Mike.
Actually, I believe the order was Brenton and then Mike.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm so behind.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, it's all good. Actually, this is great timing because I have a birthday surprise Zoom in 6 minutes. So this is great.
All right, let's take Brenton and then we'll hop to Mike. Is that okay for you, Mike? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, thanks.
Great.
Thank you, Mike.
Way. Take the stage.
Good to see you. Hello.
Hello, how are you? How are all of us?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. Have you been doing well, holding up pretty well?
Trying. You know, it's a very unusual time, but yeah, been doing I feel like I've learned a lot about myself over the last however long it's been, 6 weeks or so. So
yeah, incubation period.
Incubation indeed.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what do you think about why we're here?
Why are we here? Yeah.
You can speak like for yourself, like why are you here as Brenton Way, or we as humanity?
Collective species.
Yeah. So I shared this with Danny at one point, but there's this Indian yogic mystic I love named Satguru. And he always talks about how the point of life is to become a full-fledged life, in the sense that, like, when we're born, we have all of this unactualized potential. And the same way that, like, a bird wants to become a full-fledged bird, or a tree wants to become a full-fledged tree, a human being is designed to become a full-fledged human being. So to tap into this, like, great resource of energy and, like, creative spirit that we have in order to basically manifest that into the world. And so as I've been thinking about that, I kind of like expounded that out even more. And like, I almost think about why we're here as being like a manifestation of the universe itself, being curious about how many ways in which it can manifest a life.
Yeah. Well, I like it because like we are the universe talking to itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, you know, I studied a lot of Hinduism and many other sort of Eastern and South Asian religions when I was in college. And I love this idea of like this cosmic game being played, where it's like how many different like identities or how many different manifestations of life can one sort of central energy take on, which I think is super cool. And then interestingly enough, I think there's also in my mind, there's a sense of we're here to ask why we're here because we're like the only ones who can.
Yeah.
And without getting too meta about it, like I think just the human ability to ask questions and to really reflect on the world around us is a very unique ability. And to really try to solve the mystery of the universe, even though it's an unsolvable puzzle, is, I think, a uniquely human task that I find to be very beautiful. But I mean, I feel like you can't go too deep into the rabbit hole because eventually you're just like, well, you have these gases that just exploded and formed atoms and things, and then we live and play in these playgrounds, and then we disappear, never to be seen again. So it's best not to think about it too deeply sometimes.
If you could carry the memory of all of the atoms that your body is made out of, like far back for like thousands or potentially billions of years, would you want to? And how do you think that would affect your worldview?
I absolutely would not want to. No.
Oh,
Wow.
Absolutely not. I think I would probably. I think I'd probably go insane. No, actually, though, if you had just like billions and billions of years of memories, because like even thinking about, I think about like my atoms and even going back a few generations in my family, and like having to absorb in a very conscious way all of the traumas and all of the different times of strife and the instability of the earth and volcanoes and ice ages. And I just feel like it would just be too overwhelming for my one little human spirit to be able to handle. But that's a great question, though. It's an awesome question.
Yeah, that is a really good question.
well, thanks for hanging out with us, dude.
Yeah.
jamming
Thanks for
with us.
having me.
Yeah. It's always nice to see your face, and you always have such great insights.
Well, thank you.
One more. Okay, like, do you have a moment for one more?
Yeah.
question? I haven't really been watching the clock super specifically, but I know you do have to be somewhere at a specific time.
We got 2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we got 2 minutes. We're good.
Cool. So, what are your thoughts on intuition? And sub question: if spirit is not a real thing, if we are really just made of cells created from the earth, then can intuition exist? Do you believe that intuition is like something that comes from?
You have
something-
60 seconds.
Is it beyond our five senses?
Yeah, I think so. I think intuition is a real phenomenon. I think, like, even when you get down to like, when you think about like quantum physics and entanglement and basically like things being able to influence each other without being in the same physical space, I think that there are a lot more forces that act upon each other in the world than we are consciously aware of. And even like, and this is getting super deep, so I don't want to go too far into this, but like there are a lot of like physicists and scientists who are going more into the idea of consciousness, but this whole idea that like our brain and our senses are just like a shorthand for us to understand reality, but like reality itself is not the way the senses actually understand it. And so I think it gets very complicated, far beyond my own. What was that?
We do so much filtering for our senses.
Exactly. And like it goes far beyond my own singular understanding. But I really think that our scope of the world is extremely myopic, and there's just a lot more going on than we actually understand. And so I think intuition is like when energies, like when we become aware almost beyond our normal senses to things that are around us. Maybe it's from subconscious experience, maybe it's from a lot of things, but I do think intuition is a real thing outside of just our 5 or 6 or 7 senses.
That's awesome.
I love that. And that
Thank
makes me
you.
hopeful for intuition. Thank you, Brenton, for
Thanks for having me.
joining and answering.
And I would love to talk about free will at some point.
Okay.
In the future.
Yeah, you
Next
heard
time.
that? Yeah.
I did, yeah.
I feel like we need to do that for question of the week.
I hear the howling as well.
Yeah.
The howling.
I gotta jump up and howl real quick.
Do it.
Mwah.
Au revoir. All right.
Peace, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Those of you who are still with us, we will be having Mike Adelic, who already howled.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, just got
up?
back from it. Can you
Thank
still
you.
hear it?
Yeah,
All right.
we just howled.
Just head down real quick.
Did you put on pants?
No, I just went on the balcony. Yeah, I just stopped the video because I didn't want people to see me in my underwear.
I wish you. I kind of wish you would have showed us.
This is the greatest thing in the world. Nobody's wearing pants anymore.
Yeah.
It's all top up.
Yeah,
I
top up society.
want to show off my moon dress. I can't. It's very upsetting.
Well, Micadelic, you want to tell us who you are and what your podcast is, real quick?
Yeah, I'm Mike Brancatelli, and my podcast is Micadelic. Hi.
And Mike answers this question every day of his life.
Well, pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's one of the big ones. I only have 5 minutes to talk about it.
That's the right answer.
Well, I think that we're here to extract resources and hoard paper. I mean, clearly, like that's
Whoever has the most wins.
yeah. It's just yeah. No, I mean, I think that the people that came before me said some pretty good things. Brenton said some awesome stuff. It's I think it's just like, why are we here? I don't know, but we're here. So just to be alive and to have experiences. And, my podcast, Micadelic, is a lot about the psychedelic experience. And one of the things that I love most about the psychedelic experience is that it's just a blast of diversity and novelty just swirling around in your face. And that's what I love about the human experience. I love traveling and other cultures and meeting new people. And so I think that, like, for me, why am I here is to have as many experiences that are new and novel and diverse, while at the same time really connecting with people and having deep, intimate relationships. So to me, it's all about the experience. It's just all about living life to the fullest, whatever that means for you.
I like that you said the word diverse, because I do associate like diversity with life. Like life will naturally continue to replicate itself and change.
Yeah. I think just life just wants to have more life. It's like we want to be more alive, I think.
Do you think that do you believe in a collective consciousness?
Yeah.
Do you believe that it has a desire?
Yeah, I think the desire is the collective consciousness's desire is to experience the most amount of diverse sentient life possible, to experience itself subjectively from all those different nodes and points of view. I think that the experience of being alive as a human is awesome. And that's maybe there's a different kind of meaning for why we're human beings. But the existence of life in general, I think is like, that like collective unity. And one of my favorite authors, Alan Watts, like talks about, everything is one, but it's fucking boring if everything is one. If you're just an omniscient, all-knowing God, you just know everything, it's boring. It's boring to just be that thing. So you would want to, chop yourself up to a gajillion different pieces and play the ultimate game of hide and go seek, so maybe the purpose is to do that and then try and come back together, unify as the one, and then do it all over again. Like Jenga.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you think it so you believe in higher spirituality in some way?
I've experienced a higher spirituality, so I don't necessarily believe in it, but I think belief is a tricky thing.
Do you think that the collective consciousness, or like the great spirit or God or whatever whatever that bigger consciousness, Wakantanka, do you think that it has a sense of morality of good and evil?
It's interesting. One of my favorite teachers, Ram Dass, I remember, was telling a story about, from maybe the Bhagavad Gita, I forget what it was, but it was this battle between these deities. And one of them was the representation of time, and the other one was the representation of love. And they were like battling it out. And he's like, oh, you're going to be trapped in my prison forever. So the morality there would be, it's like good and evil. But he goes on to say that, that nothing can trap love, because love is beyond time's reach. So I don't know if there's like a morality, but I definitely know that this realm that we're in here has rules. like a game has rules. And I think that's the point too, is we all like to play games because they have rules. So I don't know if it's necessarily good or bad, but we're definitely imprisoned by the realm of time and form,
Oh,
you know, the finite realm.
yeah.
Yeah. But we're all infinite.
So
Do you think that there's a way to conserve memory of multiple lives?
I don't think you would want to, you know, I think that would be a little annoying. Maybe. It's so I can't even remember this life, you know, like
yeah.
if I had to
Like a
remember
week ago.
multiple lives, like talking to people, you're like, yeah, you remember what I said to you in 7th century AD? Like, no.
Oh, that's funny.
That's good.
Yeah, but I like this shaman told me once that like the point is that we forget. The point is that it's like this cyclical thing of like forgetting and remembering and forgetting and remembering, like, you know, the duality exploding into infinity and then contracting into singularity.
So you do believe in reincarnation, like there's a chance he'll come back as another life.
Maybe. I don't know. I believe that whatever this is energy, everything's energy, and where does it go? I don't know. It's got to go somewhere, right?
Mm.
Yeah, but I would like to come back. I'd like to come back as something cool.
Would you ever
No,
want
armadillo.
Would you ever want to like rise above the cycle of reincarnation and be done? Does that appeal to you?
Maybe. I mean, not really. I think it's fun. I think that the experience of the limitations that we have in this realm makes it interesting. Like challenges are fun and games are fun. So maybe if I get bored of it at one point, yeah, I'll rise above, I guess, whatever that means, and just be like a exploding star in the sky and then get bored of that and want to come back and do something else. Yeah.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I hope I solved the problem.
I
Yeah.
think that we're all much wiser for it.
I think we'll probably do a live stream just because the answers are already there.
Awesome.
We all just like explode.
Thanks, guys. Peace.
All right. Peace, Mike.
Bye. Cool.
That's great.
Perfect. So Rebecca should be coming on in 2 minutes for our next interview.
If you're just joining us, we're doing 6 back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but we're doing 6 interviews, 5 minutes apiece. We just had Alicia and Mike
And
Brenton,
Emilio.
and Brenton. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was great.
I kind of feel like
That was
I
so fun.
feel like I had a head trip.
Yeah.
I
great
feel like
conversation.
those were like some of the most intense concepts shared, and I'm like trying to process them still. You know, I like kind of pride myself on great. The wine was here. I've been thinking about that the whole time. About how to
All right.
refill. I kind of pride myself on a person who doesn't ask these questions. Like
What?
Because I spent so much time in my life asking these questions,
And now you're like,
and I've been like,
I don't need to know.
I've become like, I think I became like burnt out and
Yeah.
exhausted.
I think we did. We used to talk about this shit all the time, and then we just kind of got over it and started watching
Adventure
Adventure
Time. And
But it's nice to revisit it, I think.
it is nice, and I really resonate with Mike because Mike would say something really intensely spiritual, and then I would ask him if he believes it, and he'd be like, I don't know if I believe in it, but like, you know, it's an experience, and I like that approach.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I really appreciate what Alicia said about shining and showing up in your greatest version of yourself and not being ashamed to do that.
Yeah, and similar to Brenton, fully realizing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And making margaritas.
And making
They all kind of
margaritas.
connect.
If you're just joining us, our first guest, Emilio, made a margarita on screen and said, we're here right now in coronavirus because we're not making lemons out of lemonade. He said, push yourself a little farther and make a margarita, which I love.
Yeah.
Get a little drunk during coronavirus.
Yeah. We actually haven't been drinking very much in this house.
We
And
say
so
that
when we
every
drink
time we
wine,
drink.
it makes it extra fun.
We'll be having Kamga and Becca joining us soon. Becca, I think you're watching right now. Feel free to join the Zoom chat if you'd like. Conga, I think, is specific at 8:15 though.
Awesome. Yeah, so Becca, feel free to call in when you are ready by clicking on the link that we sent in the message.
And the Conga, if you're there too, feel free to come on.
Yeah.
Um,
And anyone who's watching, question of the week is, why are we here?
and feel free to answer on our live chat.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us who you are. Say hello. We want to meet you. Yeah, we're building a community here. We're trying to do some shit with Soul Stories, you know? We're trying to answer some big questions. We're trying to get to know people, make people feel seen.
Ram Benicia says, well, it's so peaceful to be here. Having my chimichangas in my hand, love y'all.
Ooh,
Chimichangas though.
chimichanga. That sounds so nice.
Why you gotta talk about food?
Right. We're at Soul Stories on Venmo. We're taking donations, so you could feed us, send us, or just deliver Chipotle to 1152 Fillmore Street. Should I have said our address on live? I don't know.
Questionable.
Question of the week: should Danny have said our address on live?
Can you text Rebecca? She's trying to come on.
Oh, what'd she say?
She said, I'm trying to.
Oh, okay. We will invite you. Copy invitation.
Stand by, because it will be worth it, because Rebecca Hannigan's amazing.
Hang with us. I know it's easy.
Such a cool person.
The hard part with Facebook Live is it's so easy to exit them, as easy as it is to enter them.
That's true.
So don't leave us, because we're codependent and you make us happy and we want to make you happy. Bam, sent to Becca.
You can also ask us anything you want to ask us in the comments if you would like. Related to or unrelated to.
Oh, here we are.
Oh, awesome. Rebecca, are you able to talk to us at 8:20? Would that be okay?
Let's pull you both on and let's
Okay.
get Conga started.
Hello.
Conga Chassa, everybody.
Hi.
Let me stop this one right here. How you guys doing today? Oh, Rebecca's here.
Becca, we're gonna talk to Conga first, and then we'll come to you.
Is that okay for you, Rebecca?
Actually, I could go, and Rebecca, since she had a hard time coming in, I'll come back right back. So it's fine.
You can go ahead. Sorry, my internet's terrible. You go for it.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Cool.
All right, Conga, will you introduce yourself and tell us introduce and promote yourself a little bit? Talk about.
Yeah, I think I have a hard time doing that, and Danny has been pushing me. So, my name is Kamga Chassa. I am a Cameroonian. I was born and raised in Cameroon, and I now live in the US, and I love words, predominantly writing. And I am an overall creative. So whether it's writing, podcasting, video editing, photos taking, people talking, I do all the words things. So yeah, that's me.
Great.
Awesome.
And do you have an answer for our question of the week?
I think, and I mean, I've been thinking about the question and I didn't get a chance. I just caught on Mike giving some really cool answers. I was like, man, I wish I was smarter or more spiritually awakened or something.
We all wish that.
Yeah.
For ourselves, not for you.
And I think what's going on is that I think we're here to ask the question. I think life is about asking those questions. And on one end, I'm like, yeah, it's great to ask the question. It's great to be curious and just discover, like, what is this? Why are we here? Oh, maybe it's to enjoy this. All right, cool. Let's try it. Well, it's not that. Let's try this something else. Let's try this and this. And by the end of it, I was like, well, we tried a lot of things and it wasn't that, but it's cool. Or you don't ask the question, which is you don't try to be anxious about anything. I feel there's a very thin balance between asking too many questions and then getting into nihilism, like, well, we're doomed. We're just on a small blue planet in the space and it's pointless. And why are you here? There's no reason for anything. So I think it's really about finding the balance between what question is worth asking. Like, all right, what do I want to eat maybe? Or what do I want to see? Because why are we here is like a huge question. It can be too much, I think.
So asking the right question.
Yeah, we're here to ask the right questions and just focus on that. Like really limit how much we can take in. I feel like the human brain body cannot just take in all the vastness of the universe. Sometimes it's okay to just have just some few droplets. I think that's better.
Nice. That reminds me of that, you know, that story about chopping wood and carrying water?
Mm-hmm.
You heard that one? Where it's like, this guy goes to a Zen master and he's like, how do I become enlightened? And he's like,
Yeah.
carry water. And then he's like chopping wood and carrying water day after day. And then he's like, well, what do I do once I become enlightened? And he's like, you'll chop wood and you'll carry water.
Yeah, it's like the simple things. It's especially because now with the virus, people. I'm actually feeling really great about everything, which is kind of weird because I know people are dying. I know people have lost their jobs. Like I know it's terrible for many people. But in a way, being able to be in one location and just sit with my thoughts allows me to look at things. I'm like, well, this is it. What if this is the end? What if this is how it's going to be from now on? Would I give up or would I find a way to make something out of it? I think it's really about what is around you. Okay, why am I here in Colorado today? Maybe it's like, have a more specific question, like add things like, okay, why am I here in this marriage? Why am I here in this friendship? Why am I here in this location, this school, this thing that I'm doing? And then go with that. I think that's how to do it.
The show, have you seen The Midnight Gospel?
No, I haven't.
It's a new show on Netflix created by this podcaster, Duncan Trussell, and the creator of Adventure Time, Pendleton Wharton. And in one of the episodes, the interviewee says, reality is about meeting reality on reality's terms.
I love that.
Which is like whatever is around you, it's like, how do I work with this? How do I adapt to this? What do I take from this situation?
Yeah, I think that really sums it up about the way I think about questions. Because, I mean, for me, getting married, having to deal with the ups and downs of discovering yourself in a relationship, in a marriage, in a new country, is like sometimes asking too many questions can stifle you from really looking at what's important right now. So maybe not ask all the questions all the time.
Yeah.
Just really see like, all right, what do I need now? And then just solve that first. I think that's why we're here, to figure out what we need to figure out today. And then tomorrow we'll figure out what we'll figure out.
And that becomes so important, like when I think a lot of people like me don't have a schedule right now. And so you have to wake up in the morning and be like, okay, what is it? What's right in front of me? What is my purpose today? Like, what are my tasks? Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I see all the posts and the tweets and people are like, oh, one day is stretching into like a week. And I can appreciate it intellectually speaking. It's just like, I have these goals that are so huge. I'm like, thank God I get to stay in the house and make my schedule now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on where you're headed,
Yeah. Time can be such a gift for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining us, Kamga.
You're welcome. Really glad to be here. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And for those watching, stay tuned to the Soul Stories. I almost said Soul Stories podcast because I work with the Soul Stories podcast. But anyway, thanks for having me, guys.
We love you, Kamga.
Yeah, thank you.
Miss you guys, man. See you soon.
It's good to see your face.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right, Becca Hannigan.
Hey.
What's up? Man, I love your dress, Chelsea, like so much.
Thank you.
My problem originally, I had too many devices. I had like Facebook on this and then Zoom on that. And I was like, lots of stuff. Anyway, what a world.
Right now.
Yeah, good.
Cool.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, I feel like every day is like its own mini, like I feel every emotion, like with all these hours, I was terrible when I woke up and now I feel great. So,
wow.
Relatively well, I know, right?
How do you move through your emotions? They just
fortunately I happen to have a therapy session today, so that was great. If not, I'm not sure. I did do like a core power video, which like is not actually yoga, but they act like it is. And like this like evolve, like, if like we have a spectrum of like relatively yoga-ish to like Western like workout, it's like way over there. But anyway, that was helpful. Just moving, whatever. So in talking, that was good. So
good.
So Becca, well, first tell us about yourself. Tell us about your writing a little bit.
Well, yeah. I write fiction generally. It kind of blends between whether it's narrative or mainly word or just fun or crazy or neurotic. It's something. Yeah, and I'm kind of undergoing a project at the moment about like mental illness and my own experiences with that, as I know Danny will be talking about, and Chelsea with the Soul Stories podcast and everyone else. So yeah, it's kind of a project about my experiences with that and with others. Yeah.
If you're just seeing Becca for the first time, she's an incredible writer, one of my favorite in Denver, and that's not just because she's on here. I just want to brag about you for a second, Becca.
Do you write poetry as well at all, or no?
I mean, that's the funny, like, you know, that's a whole other debate. Like, what even, like, I feel like I do sometimes, yeah, like, it kind of can be prose poetry, or it can, like, yeah, it kind of blends. Sometimes the stories are pretty much just like giant, long, rambling poems. So I don't really know. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Bryce has started a thing where he's doing a fundraiser for Denver Food Rescue, and he's looking for poems to make a book, an anthology for the fundraiser.
I saw that. I'm very interested in that. I appreciate what he's doing there. That's amazing. And Denver Food Rescue is fantastic. So
yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So what about the question of the week?
What's your answer? Tell us the answer, Becca.
You're the last person on. This is gonna be, you'll know.
Figure it out.
I mean, all that debate, no. Well, I did actually write a poem-ish maybe, because I feel like, you know, nothing like a big sprawling question to like turn to something kind of succinct to get at it. But also, I mean, to just preface it, I feel like, I mean, of all the questions that we definitely all ask, and I definitely find myself asking everything like, why do I have this coffee? What even, whatever, anything. I feel like I try to stray away from the why, because that is one of the more like, why is anything questions, you know? But I kind of appreciate like the impossibility of it, you know? Because it is kind of up to your interpretation, or like, I don't know. So I think it is interesting to try to, I kind of started writing about what are we here doing? Like, where are we here? And I kind of even just wrote about that elsewhere. And then here's the why, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, I'll just read this.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, at first, we were just the happenstance offspring of cell replication, gene mutation, like kids who never asked for permission from their parents to be born, with bodies parallel like fork tines, learning cruelty with serrated knives, coupling at night and shaping ourselves like spoons. But after existing simply as such tools, we, for whatever reason, became self-aware of our toolness, and then things became complicated. And I feel like now we are here to kill time, to forget that time is killing us, to follow because we want to find those who will follow us. We're here to assign nobility to Girl Scouts, to spend too much on cookies, do like they do, and leave the earth better than how we found it, then sadly realize that such a task is impossible if not everyone shares this mindset, to feel sad about this impossibility, then try to compensate for those non-believers, the apathetic, with our own ardor. We are here to insult our enemies, invent the internet, then tweet passive-aggressively, to braid and unbraid and braid our hair again, to braid our sisters' hair, our brothers, tie our ties, paint our nails, to cry, to pluck up weeds, exhale seeds, stare at dandelions, squish ants, try to trap mice but fail, ask if we can retake the test, cram, delete spam emails, feel guilty, arguing while carving holiday hams, create holidays, find reasons to drink champagne, sedate ourselves, burn off all energy so we can rest, criticize those who rest too much, fear nothing more than laziness, persuade others to be different, to adore us, adore ourselves, deplore ourselves, and then to keep us going, keep our tongues loose and keep each other warm, blanket our bodies as they get old, and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and never arrive at an answer. And that's that.
Holy shit. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Did you write that specifically in response to this question, or did you already have it?
Like this afternoon.
Oh, cool.
Maybe I did bits of it the other day when you first asked. I was like, okay. But yeah, no, I appreciate like any sort of prompt like that, because it's like, you know, it can be huge, but it can also be tiny. You know, I mean, there's so much. You can go on and on and on and on, of course. But these are just the things that happen to like come into my head, whatever, you know. Rebecca, and then even that, it's like, why did those come to my head? Thanks.
I think my favorite part was asked to retake the test.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
I like the breathing out seeds part.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It's funny. We're like, weeds go away, and then we're like, ooh, dandelions, and we're like, you know, we're like,
Yeah. Well, it's like such a great symbol for life and reincarnation and everything we've been talking about.
Do you want to add anything before we finish up? Any final thoughts for us?
I know. I mean, I appreciate what all you've raised. I feel like there's a lot more to say, of course. And yeah, thanks for all the, you know, getting us outside of our heads and in our heads at the same time. It's like, it's good, you know?
Cool.
Right where we want to be.
Nice.
Outside
I love
and inside
that.
at the same time.
That's
Right?
true. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys again.
Good to see you.
We love you.
You too.
Becca.
Much love.
Wow, what a night.
Wow. I feel like
Our friends are so interesting.
I
I
know.
love our friends.
if you I think wait, where are we?
Yeah, I think you just click on us.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Brett says Becca the best.
Becca the best.
Yeah, that was a great poem.
Yeah. People are so talented.
People are talented, people are smart. If you're on this chat and you're interested in joining us for a 5-minute interview, message us afterwards and we'd love to chat with you.
Yeah, who knows what the question of the week will be next week. But if you have an idea about that, you can also put it in the comment section. What should the question of the week be next week? Last week, we got our question of the week from this conversation.
Yeah,
So it might happen again.
that's true because one of our guests asked 10 of the most deep and meaningful questions
Got real deep.
that just blew our fucking minds.
Good times, though. Good times.
God, wine gives you such funny feelings, you know?
I mean, there's a Greek god just for wine.
Yeah, I believe
Wine and parties.
Wine's brutal because it's like the most different of all the drunks, and
Yeah.
well, probably liquor too, but wine, you wake up in the morning and you know you drank wine
Yeah,
the night before.
that's true. Okay, I just want to appreciate humanity for a minute here.
Okay, tell us about
Because-
humanity.
Fucking humanity. Like, okay, who knows why we're here? Maybe we don't know, but that's what motivates us to do all the amazing shit that humans do. And I know that humans do a lot of fucked up shit, but let's set that aside for a moment and think about all the cool shit. Rebecca Hannigan, a fucking brilliant writer.
Brilliant writer.
All of our guests, fucking brilliant, amazing, creative, interesting, unique people.
Thoughtful people, thoughtful
All different
voices.
from one another.
Yeah.
And then somebody invented refrigerators. And that makes me really happy.
And it all comes back to refrigerators.
I'm so glad we have a refrigerator. And then also, I on the Howling page, I asked people to promote. We made a post like, promote your small business or whatever you do here. And there's all kinds of crazy art that people are producing. People are knitting weird alien octopus creatures. People are doing crazy like metal etchings of your face. Like all kinds of amazing art is happening right now.
You know what's interesting about that?
What?
Like celebrity culture, like we have such a limited range of who artists are.
Yeah.
But if you were to like, because a couple of our answers were like creating things is the purpose in life.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
If you were to look at local art across the country, you would get millions of brilliant minds and artists
Yeah.
that you'll never hear or see in our entire
Being
lives.
famous has no correlation to being good.
Yeah, it has no correlation.
Yeah.
I bet like if you did research, if there was a way to do research on that, it would 100% like show that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, yeah, somebody actually, I was thinking about this because I've been really enjoying some other people's live streams that I've watched, like local community members who are just having interesting conversations. And I'm like, dude, this is way more interesting than like watching like The View or something.
Right.
You know, like I want to know what my friends in my community think about things. And somebody posted on the Howling page that they howl for the end of famous people being important.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, that's weird, and I guess I get it. But then it really clicked for me, like in like the past 15 minutes.
Really? Just
Like-
because we had so many like smart people on.
Yeah, like we can entertain each other in a way that's so much more meaningful.
So much more meaningful.
Yeah.
And it would take the pressure off of creating, and it would take the pressure off of needing to be somebody and
Right. Yeah.
branding yourself.
Yeah. It's cool. There's a lot of great things.
So after all these conversations,
I want to cheers you again.
feel free to comment, answer these questions below. Is there anything you took away from tonight, like you learned from tonight?
I think I could say something I learned from each person. Or maybe it's not something I learned like I never heard before,
Yeah.
but it's something that like I'll take with me. I think that Alicia, my sister, had a really interesting approach of talking about why we are here by exploring the absence of being here and by talking about death.
Yeah, I liked her comment about stagnation.
Yeah. And how, yeah, like change is life, stagnation is death. Yeah, so that's just like a really interesting concept to play with. Emilio's idea of like we're here to make margaritas makes me so fucking happy because I see him doing that in his life. He has kind of like stepped forward onto the stage of like the creative community and like has had the courage to take up space, and I love that.
Yeah.
Was Brenton next or was Mike next? Brenton was next.
Brenton was next.
Brenton, I thought was so interesting because it can feel very uneasy to sit in an unanswered question. And that's exactly what he compelled us to do. Brenton was like, we are here to ask the question.
Right. Which is what Conga said too.
Which is what Conga said too, yeah. And it's frustrating a little bit to be like, that has to be enough? I want the answer to the question.
Yeah. But the question, I mean, we do question of the week because of that.
Yeah. I think that like the uncertainty and like the not knowing the answer to these questions is what drives us forward every day.
Yeah. And it's interesting in terms of like content and like creating things, and like as we were talking about like gaining traction and gaining followers, because I often feel like you have to have answers to gain followers. And like, or not you have to have answers, but a lot of times these self-help gurus and these people who answer these questions are like, I have the answer and let me tell you.
Yeah.
And that's what gains followers, because people feel so uneasy about asking the question.
Yeah.
About sitting in the uncertainty.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think it's interesting. I think it's
honest.
It's honest.
Yeah. Totally. It's the real truth of it is that it's unknowable.
It's unknowable.
Yeah.
And that freaks the fuck out of people.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what Mike had to say? Do you have something on that?
I thought Mike and Becca were very similar to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In what way?
To experience.
Mm-hmm.
They really talked about being able to experience what's around them.
Yeah. Well, in Conga, his big thing was like kind of one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
Like it's not about like answering this big overwhelming thing. It's about like, what is my next step?
And I think that's what the natural path of asking big questions is you ask. I don't know if this is how it's been for you, but in my life, the more I've struggled and focused and pontificated and et cetera, about these questions, the more I just have to keep coming back to like, oh, like, never gonna answer it. I just have to be with what's around me.
Yeah.
Even though I don't want to do that, because I often just keep asking the questions and keep wanting different answers and not wanting the answers that are right in front of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel like you often wish for different answers than you're getting?
I think that like a lot of us did when we were younger, you know. I think that when I was young, when people asked me what I wanted to be when I grow up, I said I wanted to be a world famous actress that traveled the world. Did I actually want to be a world famous actress, or did I just want copious amounts of affirmation. I think that's what I really wanted. I wanted copious amounts of affirmation.
Yeah, that's all that is.
Yeah. And I think that like this idea of being the most important person is a fantasy that a lot of us hold.
Yeah.
But it's actually an incredibly disempowering concept for like everybody else.
Yeah.
It's this whole concept of like, you know, we've been talking about this idea of TED Talks and this idea of like the sage on the stage where there's this like one person who like has the answers and then everyone else like sits in the audience and just like watches them and learns, versus like an interactive space where everybody's collaborating and learning and adding in.
Yeah.
Collectively, it's like, okay, I'm going to totally botch this quote. And I don't even know what, it's like a proverb from somewhere in Africa or something. But it's like, basically, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that like society can grow a lot more when we're in a space of collective learning, versus this fantasy that we all have of being like the most important like individual that's going to save everyone.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like the ego really desires that most important lesson.
Yeah.
Yet, like, the ego is often so wrong.
Yeah.
But the ego is what we praise.
Yeah. And we're taught that that's even a real concept.
Yeah.
That like one person can save everybody else.
Well, it's interesting too, because like, let's take Michael Jordan, right?
Okay.
Michael Jordan is the most American icon.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Okay. I mean, even I know who he is, so he's got to be pretty famous.
Right. And like, you know, I'm watching this like documentary on him. They're doing a 5-part documentary series on him.
Really?
Yeah, 10-hour long.
But he didn't really have any scandals, did he? He was just like a basketball player.
It's about one season of the
one season. Wow.
Of the Chicago Bulls. Anyways.
Okay.
The point is, I'm watching this and I feel so engrossed because he truly was arguably the greatest player to play basketball.
Wow.
And it's amazing. It's so captivating to watch and to be like, to see greatness and to know what greatness looks like. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Was he just like zen as fuck?
He was just a killer.
What was his like personality like though?
Just like hyper competitive. He had a gambling problem.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like just competitor to the next degree.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Like he's not the most talented basketball player.
Oh.
He's he's like the winningest.
Oh, because he works the hardest.
He works the hardest, and at the end of the game, you want him shooting the last shot because of all of the players, like in the history of basketball, he often is the one who is going to make that shot because he will the team to win. And he could just jump. Nobody could jump like Michael Jordan.
Wow.
Anyways, but like it's crazy to watch greatness and be so engrossed in it, and also know that like individual greatness isn't the truth. You know, it's just so.
Yeah.
It's so desirable.
Yeah.
But it's not the truth, as you're saying. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that can definitely be a best person on a basketball team.
Right.
Yeah.
But he doesn't win without his team. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, what do you want to say before we wrap up?
We all knew that we weren't going to answer this question.
Yeah.
It's not the point. The point was, I guess, more to ask the question.
Yeah, honestly, when we proposed it, it was kind of like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, we were like, this will be funny. People will say funny stuff to make fun of the question because it's like such an obnoxious, like, yeah, over the top kind of question.
But this is probably our deepest talk yet.
Yeah, it was.
We usually are very silly for very long periods of time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just think like I want to go on as if I have some free will as if I
It's
am
an illusion.
creating. It might be an illusion.
Yeah.
But I mean, with all of the capacity that I do have and all of the things I do have control over, like that's what I want to focus on, to like create my life, to make a contribution to this world. And like I think if everybody just put their eyes on the idea of doing things that will help others, all of us collectively would be like living like kings and queens. We'd be so good. We'd be so set.
Yeah. I agree.
And I think that somebody brought up like the best thing you can do is just be that example.
Yeah.
Alicia brought that up. And you know, when you shine, you give other people permission to shine.
And it just takes like a lot of light bulbs clicking on.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
turn your light bulb on, somebody else can turn their light bulb on.
Yes, it's like have you ever seen pitchforks?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're the same, set to be the same tone, if you make one of them resonate, another one will also start to vibrate and resonate. And they all spread like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to vibe high.
Yeah, buddy.
Keep vibing
Can't be
high.
scared of it.
Yeah, I think my final thought will be I just want to keep creating the fun shit I want to create.
Yeah.
And like this is fun. That's why we do this.
Fun is a good sign.
Fun is a good sign.
Keep an eye out for fun. Then you know you're on the right path.
Fun. I think that's it. Have fun.
You think that's why we're here?
Yeah.
Definitely a good purpose.
Be responsible to your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions, and have fun.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fun rules.
Fun rules.
That's a Waking Life quote too.
And Danny is a little buzzed.
Whee! I'm sober.
Yeah, we have purple ass mouths. All right. Well, we got 5 people on. What do you think?
Would anyone else like to say anything? Final closing comments.
Kamya says, I love you. Mike says,
Oh.
thanks, peace. Brett says, you top fan, you.
That's
High praise. Or Rebecca said that about Brett.
so great. Mostly we just come on here to hang out and talk to our friends on Facebook.
That's our goal. So
it's really fun.
if
And
you're-
to meet new friends.
yeah,
It's nice to like meet people through Facebook Live sometimes.
if you're still here, please share this. And not for any like promotional purposes, but like the more people, well, for promotional purposes, but the more people,
Also.
the more people we have, the more fun we have, you know?
That's definitely true.
So like
Fun rules.
fun rules, share with your friends, motherfuckers. I'm
Purple
sorry.
ass mouths, Rebecca said. Oh, I love Rebecca.
Oh my God, you guys so cute, like a sitcom, but much higher quality. Yeah, Buzz, haha.
Oh.
We do have kind of a sitcom-y vibe.
Do we?
I
Like
think
which
so.
show would we be?
I don't know, but we need a laugh track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we download like a whole strip of sound effects?
You know what? If I had a laugh track in my life, I would use it all the time.
Oh, that'd be so obnoxious.
I would say jokes and I would just hit it.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that would be my dream.
All right, let's get out this thing.
All right, we love you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah. Have a good week.